and we'll go ahead and start. So we're about 10 minutes into this, so we'll put this as the official start instead. So you'll get that for about full 30 minutes. And so what I've been doing a lot of clearing. My neck was stiff earlier just because I overdid it yesterday. So I decided we need to clear. And so using a little bit of stone energy. I've been talking with our guides since last night to make sure that we're really balanced and together on this. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and start. And so what I'm going to do is connecting to the one infinite creator. I call upon all those that are guiding and directing Josh at this time. And he has some things that he would like to know that only he can get from you and the answers that come within. And so we're seeking those answers that he could be able to get that. And what my intention is today, to be able to clear the third eye and the crown chakras and open them so that you may resonate with him and he may get those direct blessings and answers that he seeks. Okay, so I always like to start with a prayer. That's just kind of how I do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the tarot really quick and pull a couple cards just for, I like to use it as a little bit of guidance. And what I use is what's called multiple dimensional tarot. I don't know if you've heard of Matthew Mornian before.
No, I haven't.
He's really amazing. He's one of my instructors. He actually is from San Diego originally, but now he lives in LA. And so what it focuses on is the mind, body, spirit. And so we're connecting those energies and seeing if there's any blockages beside, and those can be looked at if you decide that you want to do future sessions with me and everything. And otherwise, as an energy worker coming into your energy as well, you can be able to decide if that's something you want to explore on your own. So I always love to allow people to have their full free will on decisions. And so I'm just going to shuffle these a few more times. Energy flow is really good this morning. Did some smudging earlier too to make sure to keep the space clear.
Okay. Is there any way to turn up the volume a little bit? Do you have any control on the volume?
Let me see. Are you having a hard time hearing me?
I can hear you, but it's a little faint. I have to get kind of close.
Is that okay? It could be this mic. Let me see if this other one is a little better because I can get it closer to my mouth.
Okay.
It's like we can't live without it and we can't live with it when we got tech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of these days we will get some of those. Can you hear that a little bit better with this mic?
I think so.
Okay. I think this one gets a little bit closer, a little bit more, and I'll project.
Yeah, it is a bit better. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Get that card to shuffle. My dog wanted to come up on my lap at the last minute, so I have less lap space.
Okay, that's good. No biggie.
All right, awesome. So the first card that we're drawing is the 9 of Swords. Oops, there we go. That's in the mind position. The body position is the Knight of Wands. The spirit position is the 4 of Cups. And then I always do more than one row because it's just a little bit better. So this one is the 10 of Pentacles.
Okay.
The 8 of Wands. And the Page of Swords.
Okay.
And I don't have all of my directions memorized. I go through spirit And so I'm just scrolling through really quick because it's just a little bit different when we do multidimensional tarot for the mind, body, spirit. There's, like I said, some additions that Matthew got, and it's a beautiful way. I love how he put this together. And so the Nine of Swords in the mind position. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on in your life, of course. You know, just a little bit that we've talked about on messaging. Excuse me. Maybe you've had a lot of anxiety, grief, or depression over it. And so in the mental state, a lot of times that can cloud. And so what this is doing that I'll be working with you on it'll also be helping you raise your vibrations, which definitely helps on thwarting those negative energies that may be trying to deceive us or get us confused. You may have a blockage in the liver that you might want to look at, or we could look at that in future times. It does take a lot more time whenever I'm actually going through and removing attachments and helping with blockages. And so, but that is
Okay.
something that you could look at if that's something you'd like to look for in the future. The Knight of Wands, excuse me, basically maybe in the body position, there's like a conflict of some sort. How's your diet? You know, you can look at that. Is my diet high vibrational? Am I eating things that might be pulling me down a bit? And I do have videos on YouTube and on Awaken, Empower, Thrive. Either one, I'm actually
Yeah.
transferring them over that give a lot of good insight and resources. Maybe if there's been some things that have kept you off. And it looks like by your picture, you might be a coach or something yourself. And so,
You know what? I had a nutritional supplement business at one time.
oh,
I'm not
awesome.
really too
Awesome.
involved in that at this point.
Okay. So
But as
I won't
far as
worry about.
diet, yeah. Well, as far as diet, it's more of a conflict of like I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to go as close to vegetarian as possible, which I haven't
Perfect.
really done. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
kind of something on my mind and something that like I'm starting to eat a few days a week vegetarian, but I'm still eating meat. So
Okay.
I mean, in that way, it's not a big conflict, but I know it's something that maybe potentially I'm trying to go toward.
Oh, good. And you know, the way that sometimes it takes a while, it took me about 6 years to be completely detoxed and to the point that I am as a vegan or vegetarian. I do
Yeah.
eat some honey and some non-fertilized chicken eggs. And so I do still get a little animal protein without eating, you know, dead flesh of an animal. And so,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's definitely a process.
Yeah.
And then as far as the Knight of Swords, maybe what you would want to do is soften the tone on the body. With your physical practice, your spiritual physical practice, what kind of energy work do you do for your physical body? Are you doing like stretching, yoga, qigong, you know, tai
So
chi, or? Mm-hmm.
right now, because of my current job, I'm in a car a lot every day,
Oh,
like 8 or 10 hours a day. So what I've been doing is less me. It's more I go get a massage like once a week, and a very
right.
very deep massage.
Okay.
So it's like a Thai massage where they're like elbowing me and walking on me and pushing everything out
Right.
of my back. So yeah. So that's what I've been
Awesome.
doing. I mean, right now it's less what I'm doing as I'm doing it, but obviously I'm not the physically one physically doing it.
Right.
But that's what I'm doing temporarily.
And it can be hard when you're in the car all the time. I've definitely been
Yeah,
there. And so even if when you get up in the morning, sometimes I'll do it in the bathtub if I'm like, oh, I don't have anywhere to go when I'm nice and warm, or in the shower
yeah,
and just kind of, you know, stretch out the neck, stretch the back, go
yeah,
all the way down. Even if it's just some stretching and getting your spinal fluid moving, it really
yeah.
definitely could help with that, especially where we've got that. Oh, excuse me, that's the Knight of Wands. I'm reading the Knight of Swords.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay,
We'll start
okay,
over on that one, but that's always a
okay,
good one too. Let's see. So there we go. Oh, actually, moving forward. So I totally apologize on that. So moving
that's okay.
forward, which that one basically, and it's funny because it's a similar picture. So continue what you're doing on your path, and so
Hmm.
that's awesome, actually, because just what we were talking about, this one lines up a lot more, I think, even where you're talking about how you've been
Okay.
feeling connected to your guides and wanting to move
Yeah, yeah,
forward with that. Perfect. So it is encouraging you with that Knight of Wands, not the Knight
Okay.
of Swords. And so
Okay.
I don't know why my camera, oh, there we are. For some reason, it popped you down off of there. And then the Four of Cups. I always love cups. They're really cool. Let's see that Four of Cups. And so in your spirit side, the maybe too much overthinking or wandering back to this one's talking about a blockage in your gallbladder and your triple heater. And so that could be some other things. Like I said, you'll be getting a recording of this, so you'll be able to know which areas that they're energetic
Okay.
blockages. You could talk with your guides about, what would it take to help me to, clear my liver energy, clear my gallbladder, and my triple heater energy. A lot of times when we have liver and gallbladder blockages, there might be issues with maybe somebody in a karmic area where maybe we haven't released trauma or haven't forgiven or even forgiven ourselves. There might be some anger somewhere or just some and where, you had mentioned there's been some lack of trust. There might be somewhere in the past that maybe what you could do is go through and say, hey, I forgive you, even if you don't talk to that person, just for yourself. And I do that kind of coaching as well as an NLP practitioner, and it's called a timeline. Basically, what you do is we would go back into that past area and help pull out those traumas. And so that would also be something that would be really good.
Okay.
And you can also do things like that by yourself when you're thinking about, oh, this happened, it was in the past, however you would do it to help yourself with your personal healing and progression. And then, so the next one was this one's also in the spirit, or excuse me, the mind position. That's that 10 of Pentacles. And Pentacles is usually something in motion. You're keeping that motion going. And there's been where you've got a desire of doing something greater. Maybe you want a legacy that you want to leave your posterity, or something bigger, this bigger meaning for yourself that you want to be able to bring in, to be able to bring that service to others, service to Gaia. And what can you do to do that? Maybe one of the things I love with the 10 of Pentacles, because it's that my ships come in type energy. And so what kind of flow can you do to be able to really bring in those energies? One thing I like to do is keep a journal. And I've got several different kinds of journals besides like my dream journals and my question journals. I have an abundance journal. Like, what am I grateful for today? Recognizing my weaknesses or things that are going on, and then saying, hey, I can take that and make that a strength, or wow, I'm really grateful what this has taught me. And so maybe keeping a journal like that. Now the 8 of Wands in the body position, you're unfolding in your physical plane. You're going to be noticing a more rapid development, especially with the connection of your mind and your psychic facilities or your intuitive facilities being cleared out. That's really going to be able to give you a little bit more of a boost, maybe about 40% more, as you continue to grow and recognize even more the messages that your guides are going to be giving you. As far as, I'm not showing any blocks on that one, which is really good. Now the Page of Swords in your spirit area, let's see, I'll put that a little bit closer. The Page of Swords, you're going to find...
Just so you know, real quick, my ears are getting very sensitive right now.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So
Maybe we've got those...
I'm almost zoning out, just so you know.
Are ya? It's...
Yeah. So
and it could be the energies.
Well, I don't think it'll happen, but it may try to push me astral. So you may have to pull me back if that happens.
Okay. And just keep breathing through it. If you do, just allow what's happening to happen. And you can even close your eyes if you decide that you want to, because what I'm going into next might do that, because I do have a very strong medicine. Some people actually say their bodies start to vibrate. And this is actually just a partial. It's only a quarter of what I usually do in a whole session, just because I had to actually up my sessions, just because it takes so much more time and energy to really give people what, you know, they deserve for their healing. And I'm like, oh shoot, and I hadn't got it done before you had clicked on it, but I wanted to honor what we had done just because I'm a person of integrity. And so the Page of Swords is, you know, like I said, that new opportunity. Your communication will be flowing a lot more in that spirit side, and you'll feel like there's something completed, or like you'll be gaining a greater wisdom or strength. And so you'll want to be in your truth, of course. And that's one thing that the Page of Swords is always about: communication. Any of the swords are about communication. And so you'll want to maintain that flow of reception with that communication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the energies. And what I'm doing right now is energetically, I have my hand on your soft spot of your head, and I'm doing an energetic Reiki on your body, and especially around your third eye, your crown, and really getting into, and what I'm seeing is there's a little bit of heavy metal toxicity in your brain. And so one of the things that you could do is a heavy metal detox if you've not already done that, or it's been a little while. Fulvic acid is a really good nutrient that you can put in your body. And the video that I did on nutrition explains, and it has a lot of really good resources for you. And chlorella and cilantro as well are really good for those detoxes, especially with heavy metals. And that'll also help to clear up your physical brain in the pineal gland. And so I'm just opening up the pineal gland right now. You might feel a little vibration in the brain. Up in that soul star chakra, allowing the flow and the energy. And just be aware of your breath as you allow these energies to work. As you breathe in through your nose, you're bringing in clarity, and you're bringing in healing energies so that your guides can help you to heal and have the full understanding of the things that you're seeking. And I'm creating an energy ball right now that I am going to put in those areas to help raise your vibrations. And as you breathe out, you're releasing any unwanted energies, any negativity, anything that is deceptive or confusing must leave. Only the truth may enter into Josh's consciousness and subconsciousness. Only true wisdom and light is allowed to help him in his ascension path. allowing those energies to come up from Mama Gaia. You can imagine roots from your feet going deep into the earth, wrapping around tourmaline and quartz. And citrine quartz is the one that I feel the strongest about, that will help come up and through your body and really help to raise the vibrations of your third eye and your crown chakras, allowing them to fully release. And draw in the wisdom and the energies to help fully heal and balance your brain and your mind. You're about 3/4 of the way on that energy in the brain. And I can see that your skull inside and energetically as well is starting to clear up, and even the aura is brightening. Excuse me. I am just throwing in the aura just to make sure to keep you protected so that as you continue to balance this area of your body, that you'll be protected from any etheric attacks. That's really essential in allowing those energies. Awesome. So that's activated beautifully. So you might notice today that maybe you feel a little more tired. Maybe there's a different energetic boost. Either way, that's fine. You'll want to just drink a lot of clear liquids to help to flush out anything that maybe you've got to still release from your body. If you do feel tired, it's okay to take a power nap. It's all good. I've totally been there. And so sometimes these can be like, whoa, overwhelming. If you feel any strong emotions, just go ahead and breathe through that and allow those to flow. You don't want to feel like anything's stopping. Just allow things to come and write down any impressions that you get. Your dreams may become more vivid. I would also encourage to write down, what kind of things that you're seeing in your dreams, and be detailed if things really stand out to you. What are those? So that when you come back to them, or you decide to, hey, I want to unpack this dream and say, okay, what does this part mean? What does this part mean? What does this part mean? And then put that together for your greater answers. So is there any questions? We got a couple more minutes.
I mean, not really. Aura-wise, could you see? I'm just curious. What was the main color, or did you see any specific color, or no?
Right now, there was just a really bright white light that I was putting around. Your aura is kind of a green turquoise, just mostly in this area. You did have the full rainbow spectrum that went down to your chakras. There's a few black areas that I cleaned and cleared and closed because I wanted to make sure that we're keeping entities out, especially while you're going through this process. And so I did balance your chakra for you. Excuse me. Just because I think that's really important to kind of have a shield. I also did put a shield around you that's good for 72 hours so that it can kind of help. It's kind of a crystal shield that I do with Eagle Dragon Medicine, just because I want to make sure when you're going through this, I have to remember to look in the camera instead of at your eyes. So I'm like, I guess this is your eyes, so that you can be able to find that balance a lot better. So.
Okay.
Anything else um, that maybe you have questions on with this transition
Yeah, I
energetic?
mean, the only other questions were more kind of what I already spoke to you about.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think we're both unsure with the symbol. So I mean, that's not really. And the other stuff is kind of stuff that I don't know either. Like I said, I had a coin that had magically appeared that was a Turkish coin, stuff like that. But
Right.
I don't know. That doesn't
Okay.
not.
Yeah, any of those things, like I said, go inside, really meditate. Your guides would know for sure on if that it was something that was directed for you, or if they're, because a lot of times we do get psyops, and it's trying to feel through and go, oh gosh, is this real, or was I feeling somebody else's energy? Because every human, we all have our psychic abilities, we all have our intuitive abilities, and so we never know unless we get those answers. So keep writing those down, keep asking your guides, and those answers will be able to come to you as well.
I guess the only other thing would just be kind of with the program stuff. Like I say, I don't know that I necessarily have any affiliation with any of that particularly, but I don't. I really think I am involved in something, but what, I have no idea. Whether it be that or something else, I do know that there's some kind of blockage though. So yeah, I mean, if for some reason your friends or you or anything, you figure anything out, let me know, or you have a sense of something, so I can further look into it. Then let me know.
Right. Well, and also your guides, this is why I wanted to really get this area cleared, of course. Now, in order to really fully reonc the body, it does take a couple of hours to do. And so we have done a little portion of it. Excuse me. So that could be like an hour, hour and a half. Just future, if you decide, I really want to go deeper into this to really get my full energetic body cleansed, balanced, and any, like if you have any attachments that we could pull and get those, like the liver, gallbladder, that triple heater balanced for you. And so always go to your guides, just because, there's so many programs. Unfortunately, I don't have those answers. And if anyone does claim to have those answers, they're probably LARPing and they're trying to feed off of your energy. And so really, really be careful. Of course, protect your
What does
energy.
LARPing mean? I don't know. What does LARPing
It's a
mean?
live action role play. Basically, what you see when people get together, oh, yeah, I remember this, I remember that. It's just kind of a role playing that people do. And a lot of times, different programs have psyops that they like to confuse people with. And that's why rather than getting into what we did or we may have done, it's better to go to source, go to spirit and our guides and ancestors,
Yeah.
because they're going to have those true Akashic records that they can bring to us so that we can get those real true answers. And you'll
Yeah, that's
notice
why
your dreams.
that's why I was trying to do the past life regression, like using Dolores's system for the same reason, because then it goes to the higher self
And I love
versus anything
Dolores.
else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But the problem was what I told you. There's a blockage. It was like a veil over
Right.
my. I couldn't get to anything.
Oh, well,
So
I really hope that this helps you. You've been
yeah.
a great participant. Thank you so much for letting me work with
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Thank you.
We have come to time.
I do have one other question.
Mhm.
So, like, I know you had your video brought down, but do you feel like it's a source that's not really something we should be looking do you not have trust with that resource? I don't care one way or another because I don't have any communication with them. I'm just curious.
There's just things that were there that I was asked to pull it down because I was compromised. There are things that were true. The dreams that I've had, I don't know the meaning of them all. And so I've decided, of course, having myself fully reanced and activated, that's just not something that I need to be focusing on. And also my son, where he was on the video, having a minor on there. He's a crystal child, and I don't want him confused. He was never in the programs, and there's a lot of things there, and I was getting into, unfortunately, the LARPing energy because of what was being encouraged. And that's why I'm just like, no, that's not going to help me pay my bills. That's not going to help me heal, and not going to help me on my progress forward in my own ascension path. So
well, that's the thing with a lot of this stuff, like with David Wilcox, all these things. You watch it over and over, it's just negative. Whether it's for the greater good or not, it's negativity over and over and over. So I understand that conceptually there's stuff that might be interesting or helpful, but if you watch this stuff and you dwell on it, it is just negative stuff, whether they're not trying to get that across or not,
Right. Well, and I think a lot of times with Wilcock, he likes to bring in some histories, and it's up to us on how we want to cipher it. And that's just my personal opinion on it, but that's good that you're a thinker. That's really good. Keep thinking, keep processing, keep talking to your guides, and they'll definitely give you answers. And if you decide in the future that you want to do a full session, I do a little bit deeper card reading. I pull a 9-card draw, and then we go through, and like I said, I'll do any attachments that need to come off. I do fully pull them off and balance your whole chakra system, open up everything, and fully activate your Kundalini. You've got to be ready for that, of course, because it's like, whoa. And so you'll want to make sure, of course, that you're eating high vibratory, that you're continuing on that inner work. And if you still feel like there's blocks there that you definitely want, we can explore that in the future too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me work with you, brother. You've been great.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Have a great
welcome.
weekend, what's left of it.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, you too.
All
Thank
right,
you.
I will talk to you later.
Talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay.